Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, I very definitely appreciate your support. And here we are on Himmel's River Pearl Dwarf. Top tier in our brand new Object 268 version 5, which is basically the Soviet T-30. 750 Alpha turret. For all intents and purposes, this is a heavy tank. Doesn't really have heavy tank armor. It's kind of weak in that aspect, kind of like the T-30, although the T-30 has a pretty fantastic turret. This one's just okay. But you got that big boomstick, you got a turret. It really begs to be played more or less like a heavy, though again, you have to be careful with the armor. Now, in a case like this one, where you're top tier, you're in pretty good shape. Now, one of the things I get asked about a lot as people are trying to get better at the game is, how do you stay consistent? What do you do with bad teams or bad deployments or both? And the honest answer is, play your best game. That's all you can do. You can't control what everyone's doing. You can attempt to say, hey, can you come help me or whatever. You're going to see me. I'm going to get a little bit salty here. We'll talk about that as we go. To some extent, well, we'll talk about that as we go. It just sounds like excuses right now, but we'll talk about why I do it as well. So, a little bit of a showcase for your 268 version 5, a little bit of a way to play it. But what do you do? So take a look at this. You got a Maus on the other side, Batchat, Grille, another 268-5, and the rest of the tanks there. Take a look at your team. Kranvagn, Progetto, 268-5, a Sturv, Conqueror. And decide where you would go. Where would you go? You are in the 268 version 5. You are in the Kranvagn, you are in the Progetto. I'm not going to worry too much about the Sturv, and right now I'm obviously only talking about the tier 10s. I'm not going to worry too much about the Sturv. I would not really expect the Sturv to either go to the middle or up to the heavy brawling area in the north, in the northeast there. Could do. If you played it aggressively, you could get kind of tricky in some of those cases, but more than likely you're going to see him go down the south. Well, let's go ahead and watch as we deploy and what happens here. Because this is going to then inform that question that people ask me, what do I do with a situation like this? And my answer again is, you've got to just play your own game, man. That's the best you can do. So try to drop as much damage as you can, win your flank if you can, help your team win if you can, but you can't control something like this. The Sturv, I'm not surprised. I am surprised by the Kron. And the Progetto, maybe not. But the Progetto, that is a great tank, especially in this situation. Take a look at that. You got a Progetto. And yeah, you don't really want to tangle with the Maus unless you got backup, and you certainly do if you would have come with us. But the middle is just a fantastic place for a Progetto. But they're going to go down to the south. My problem with going in the south on this map, and the reason that I don't do it very often, except maybe in light tanks, is it becomes a stalemate and people want to just sit there, and by the time the battle comes to you, you've lost the heavy area, you've lost the middle, and now you're in just big old trouble. So we're gonna head on in here. Now I'm typing because I'm watching the tier 10s head off that way. The Calibans are saying boom boom. And I say 2 of our 10s are going to do nothing in the south. Great. All right, so let's address that. The better way for me to do that was to say, hey, can you guys come south? I wish I'd have seen it a little bit earlier and maybe tried to influence them. I don't think it would have helped, to be honest, after I took a look at the stats and how they played the game. That was a little snarky way to do it, but what I was trying to get at earlier is, I believe in being direct with people. If they're doing something dopey or incorrect in terms of playing the pixel tank game or hurting their teams, which is exactly what these two guys are doing right here, then I don't have any problem with people saying it, right? The way you say it, the way you go about it, that can always be better. And obviously keeping out insults and things like that. So a little bit snarky, but there you go. And then the Caliban shoots me. I guess he didn't like what I typed, or he misfired or something. So we're just going to come down here and we're going to fight our best fight in this north brawl area. The 432 YOLO's in. The Kron, Udez, Sturv, and one other tank are all back there. Only the IS-3 and the T-44 go to the middle. We're in big trouble. Now we have a pretty good convoy here. Unfortunately, it's only one of our 10s. And the Calibans, they can be good, but not a lot of staying power. So we just don't have a lot of staying power here. And I'm kind of expecting the Maus to show up, to be honest. I've already hit 2, so I've got the heat going. I'm going to come up here. I do need to watch, just this position specifically, you do need to watch if they come forward a lot because they can shoot down right here. And I'm going to try to use my turret the best I can. And I actually find one of their dudes here. I'm like, holy cow, I came out a little further than I liked. And I got a bounce. Right, he fired a regular AP, probably off the turret. I didn't look at it that closely. And here's the Maus and the Caernarvon. I'm thinking, all right, is the 268-5 going to come out here and give me another shot? What I'm doing here is, I know we're about the same in terms of reload, but I'm already here aimed in. And if he wants to come out with a larger bloom, then I feel like even if we shoot about the same time, I have the advantage in terms of dispersion. But he does not come, so I'm going to cross over here. Already comes in. Now the Maus is coming. I'm going to back out. And I'm a little bit surprised that he does this, but the Maus just keeps on trucking. He says, I'm the big Maus. I want to come down here and shoot people. So I'll let him keep coming until he's cleared the hole. And I slap him with my 750. So we get 797. Nice little high roll right there. And this is looking okay. We've got a 268 version 5 back here, right? The Caliban, the Skoda. There's just a Caernarvon. And to be honest, we should have won this, right? Just looking at what we have right now, it's looking like a pretty good win. I think maybe if I had this to do again, I would have turned around and helped them clean up the 268 V5 and all the buddies of the Maus, because what I do is I farm damage off the Maus, and unfortunately my buddies end up dying around me. The middle gets waxed, and I'm expecting all of their guys in the middle to come at us at any moment. So notice, we also lost our Progetto already, so he's YOLO'd in or whatever he did to die. We're already down 5 tanks, folks. We got 2 of them dead, 5 of us. We've lost the middle. Our guys in the south are camping. So the only hope this team has is here. And I'm feeling okay right now. And then the bat chat, you can see he's showing up, and now that's an X factor we're going to have a hard time dealing with. And I'm just going to not be able to shut down this Maus. We get him down to 1,400. They start beating the snot out of the Skoda. The Caliban has a long reload. The Su-101 gets nuked by the Maus. And now we're in big trouble. So we'll come over here. We'll put one more shot into this guy. And we're down to not very many tanks, right? We've got 5 dead. We've only got 2 of them. We're losing hit points. We're bleeding position on the map. And I'm expecting this KPZ and any other fast tanks to be in my face very quickly. I have a relatively long reload right here, so I'm backing out. Here comes the KPZ. He shoots a guy. I don't quite reload on time. I wanted to slap him right there, and that's unfortunate. We get a miss off of the IS, and the IS-3 pounds me back. And then we got the 2 Calibans, and they're in trouble, right? Because they're probably on a reload, and they're getting gang tackled. The Maus is still alive. I think the 268V, no, he died. The Caernarvon's still alive, and then I'm going to get roughed up by this KPZ because I'm not able to keep him off me. Trying to back up here. Getting hit by Artie didn't help. Look how slow the turret is on this thing. Even now, I'm turning the hole and the turret, and I can't keep anything on top of this KPZ. The good news is I'm able to cut him off on the wall so he can't get around me, but I only put 1 hit into him, and now he's shredding me with HE. That one only did 48, but he's going to go around behind me and start taking big chunks off of me. 336. He reloads really quickly. I'm just hoping I can get a shot. I'm like, oh, is he going to let me get it? Almost there, almost there. No. And I die. 4,046 damage, and we end up losing pretty easily past here. They own the middle. They're cleaning up the heavy. We're going to lose both Calibans without really losing anything else to them or without killing anything else of theirs. And then they're just going to come down and clean up the guys down in the south. Bad deployment. Players didn't do that well. Mistakes on my part, but I played really the best I could up here, minus the few mistakes I talked about, and I was able to garner 4,000 damage. Now, I only had, 4 hits, so 4,000 comes fast in a 750 alpha tank if you're allowed to get the shots off. But I just did what I could do in that area. I end up being, I think, 2nd in experience and number 1 in damage. You'll see the card. Almost nobody did any other damage. So I went where I needed to be. I went to the place that tank is going to do well in. I had enough guys to do well. We just didn't play well on that flank. And when you come back out and look at it, you say, yep. I don't want to say it's a factor of saying, oh, I did everything I could, because you want to be critical of your own gameplay and look at it. And I talked about a couple things there. But at the same time, you got to just accept that these games happen, and you're trying to just get as much damage downrange. What I don't recommend, which I see a lot of, is looking at this and then looking at that setup and going, well, screw it, I'll go camp at cap. I'll just farm. It's an option. You can do that, and maybe you get close to 4,000 damage. But I often find when I have a bad team and a bad deployment, if I just get to where I need to be, and I'm not saying overextend and YOLO, that happens on occasion as well, but go to the critical terrain, go with the guys that are going to play the game with you. Let the campers and the fools go to bad places. Fight your best fight, and when you come out, you're going to find you're near the top. You're near the top almost every time, to be honest. You know, the campers and the guys down there doing nothing, that's what they're going to do. You can't force them to change what they're doing. And what it also does is it allows you to practice fighting in those spots, right? Even outnumbered, learn a few things. You know, how does that spot work? What are some of the things I can do to eke out another shot? The old never give up, try to wiggle the tank, get another shot in. And that's valuable as well in terms of learning how to play the game, because you can build on that later in a better situation. So there you go. So a little bit of 268 V5 gameplay. Very slow traverse, a lot like a T30 in terms of how it plays. You can see its relative slowness, its traverse and turret traverse is slow. It hits really hard, has a pretty good turret. Very similar to T30 gameplay. The only thing it doesn't have is that great T30 depression. That's the one bummer right there. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. That's all I've got for today. We will see you.